good evening. Good morning. I know, how do we start this off? Good evening? Yeah, good evening will be fine. It'll be burgers mainly. So we can kick off with that. Now, I am pretty fucking tired. So I will give as much energy, concentration, discussion as I possibly can. Andy, listen, my man. Let's skip the coins tonight and spend 1 hour staring at the RKLB chart. 100%, man. I just saw Prince tweeting about it as well. It's a monster. What a day for it. Shame it couldn't crack the weekly. I think that's like a little bit of concern, but hopefully more pullback, cheaper prices, fine with me. But banger, absolute banger. Unfortunately, we are going to look at the coins. Oh, God. And I know that in my tiredness, I'm not going to be like talking overly positive about stuff. But let's get into it straight away. We'll start off straight away and then we'll see what the fuck we're doing. In general, right, the general like vibe here and the general mood here is basically equities post-dump, monstrous performance this week. Like 5.5% on the NASDAQ, monster markets, great moves, very bullish, huge reclaims, big bullish setups. Crypto, shit. And like unfortunately, that's just it. It looks like ass. It looks fucking terrible. Now, this is all, again, based on shorter term. This is all based on the mood this week. This is all based on the comparison with the equity side of things, where we had our, surprise, downside correlation with equities, and then we've received none of the upside correlation. And unfortunately, a lot of markets are stalling. A lot of markets are hanging around now and really not doing anything productive whatsoever. And again, this is all like lower time frame this week in particular, but you know, when we take a look at something like BTC, the price action is pretty rancid still. We're held underneath this 60K level for now. We've been doing lower time frame bounces. This price action is just fucking horrific anyway. You know, this shit going on in here, like this is just dog shit price action. Even this shit that we see like into the evening, overnight, like lower time frame stuff into the US Open has just been like a car wreck now as well. Just lots of like terrible price action. And I think for a lot of people like will get caught up in terms of getting chopped trading this now. So we're not even in positive trading environment situation. Sure, if you're on like ultra lower time frame, then maybe you're, you know, kind of still thriving in these conditions. But otherwise, this is really poor price action to even be trading, just because of the aggression that we're seeing kind of, you know, these swings both ways. And even if like we get into the price action here, you know, like this sort of price action here, like these are just like $500-$600 swings in BTC price every 5 minutes. And like that's just horrific price action to try and be dealing with. So from this side of things, pretty poor. Higher time frames, still plenty of concern on that side. We're holding near the higher low section for the majority of these. But again, the kind of like the simplicity side of things is this is our breakout point of the range highs. This is where we hope holds as the higher low here, and obviously closes then back below this 55,000, just signal the continuation of this trending market. I saw you say a month or two ago your invalidation on your Doge long was somewhere around 10, 11. What do you say now? Garbage. Garbage. This has been like I don't know what, like a 6-month hold. It's just garbage. It's just like 10% under entry. I just don't want to see it back down under here, right? But it just looks as though it's gonna puke through. BTC also significantly stronger than a lot of other markets. Now, the only exception to that, which I'm very fortunate to be a part of, is the CRV position. And CRV actually looks pretty decent through here. Like, this is a pretty decent flip. We were talking about whether or not this would be like a sweep and a rejection. We actually got above. We diverged across the top. We reset at the 50, and hopefully we can start to break this to the upside. CRV is still in a pretty good position, but BTC really is kind of the leader for right now. It's the market that has been the strongest, is still holding relatively green on the day. Everything else is pretty mixed. You know, there's some things like, I took a look at BONK earlier as well. You know, like, this is a market that very weak today, 5% down on the day. Pretty poor, looks as though it's heading into fresh lows, no divergences present, starting to wrap back around on the daily and the 12-hour. So, like, some really just, like, nasty looking stuff. And BTC, yeah, fine. Like, it's 2% up on the day. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like it's 2% up. You still under the belief that equities have topped after this week's performance? No, completely changed. Completely changed thought process. And I'll take you through that. I'll also take you through kind of like where I was wrong. And I shorted into this. I shorted into the NASDAQ earlier in the week, but this was kind of like the bigger trade position that I was wrong on. So we got a couple of things in here that happened and that have now been kind of satisfied. So basically we've completely undone the entire dump. You know, the full V reversal in here, wonderfully displayed. And I think this probably now heads towards from fresh highs, I'm pretty sure. So I was incorrect on the short into this zone here. Right, two zones. They both played out very similarly to each other. This one here was diverging on the hourly, started to build into this zone here, had an invalidation basically at 5525. Right, so it was basically like up here. And then started to build into this up at this high here. So this was the flip zone, right? This is where we flipped. Starting to build into this position here. Breaks through, stops me out at 5525. Right, I thought that was probably enough grace with this level in here as well, that if this was going to reject somewhere off this 3-day level, this would probably be the zone. It didn't. It just went straight through. So stopped me out on the short side of that. Now, the reason that kind of like the bias has changed is that I was basically trading this off this 3-day level that you see in here. Right, so this little 3-day zone that we have in here, really nice little zone for this. Good support region through here back in June. Really nice support region from July, and very clear breakdown and momentum through this level when we got the sell-off at the start of August. So basically, once we're trading back above here, hence the invalidation, right, cannot be kind of bearish on this. I think that if this was going to move back up into this zone and reject, sure, like I would anticipate them further downside, be in a nice comfy short position. We trade lower, fine. When we get back above this level, I think this is far more likely now that this ends up pushing into highs. And the weekly is still going to be interesting in this situation here where we trade up here, right? And this is going to wrap back around. And if we start to get this like triple high and this triple divergence, that will be probably my next opportunity short. However, a lot of these markets are still looking pretty good, you know, in terms of obviously the makeup in here. You've got things like Tesla, which has also done something very similar this week in terms of a reclaim. So Tesla moving back through its really important 200 zone, you know, this kind of like 200, 207 zone here. Loads of interaction with this zone, and Tesla moving straight back above after retesting lower, dropping into the 180s. Weekly RSI reset as well for Tesla. Tesla looks in a really solid position. Right, so like I think a lot of like individual markets actually look really good now. They look as though they've had their impulse. They look as though that correction has come, and now will now kind of hopefully resume back to the upside on equities for a bit. No reason not to bid Tesla. It looks great. It looks in fantastic shape. The monthly's still got a lot of room here as well. The quarterly is in an amazing position as well. It's some resistance, sure, on the quarterly through like 230s. But yeah, I think when you get down to lower time frames, this is a really nice market to be looking at. Still looks as though basically from like a 3-day, a weekly, and a monthly, and a quarterly, you've still got like a ton of room to the upside. All right, and this is marked here, January 26, 510s, because I think they were calls taken. Like significant volume of calls taken a long time ago now. But yeah, this is still like a great looking chart. And then RKLB is the one that obviously we kicked off the stream by discussing. But obviously this is a market I've kind of been vocal about buying into and being a part of this. And I was a big buyer again this week. I was a big buyer when we were doing this retest of this level down here. So when we move back down into this zone here at the $5 level, really nice flip zone, midpoint of this range, good interaction previously, traded back into that, bought a load more, and then like woke up today and it was 10% up pre-market, traded as high as 20% up, a little bit higher. Now it's a shame that we didn't get the full weekly breakout through here. This has been a very reactive level. You can see that every time that we've traded above this kind of 670 zone, we've ended up failing and dropping back inside very quickly. So we want to see a nice clean breakout through here, but the monthly looks in a really, really good position here. Like based on this monthly chart, I don't think I can be too nervous about the way that this looks, to be honest with you. This is a monster still. But again, longer term, very much longer term thought process. Yeah, I've been posting the Haven about this one, and we've been buying this week. And I've said to people, you know, like, look, if you're trading this and you're happy with basically like plus 30% gain in 48 hours, then take profit. Like, you know, if you're a shorter term trader, take profit. But for me, this is the longer term hold. So if this rejects off the weekly level and ends up trading back down here towards the 550s, I'm very happy with that still. I paid too much attention on crypto side of things. Big mistake from me this week. Yeah, like I got trapped into that early in the week and then just made the flip to equities again and was just trading based on that side of things again. Yeah, I was kind of like, I get into these little zones where I become like fixated with crypto all of a sudden again. And then I kind of snap out of it and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why am I so... I always find that like my sleep pattern gets ruined. I start like, you know, staying up later at night, watching charts, doing like meaningless stuff, being on my phone more whenever I have that kind of mindset where I'm more involved with crypto. And then as soon as I switch to equities, and fortunately, it's not really because, well, I suppose it's maybe a little bit due to what I'm actually doing and my skill set, maybe. But like the fact that equities have just been up only has obviously also been a huge help because it's just been far easier on that side of things. So I think probably next week is just like Tesla. And also CHWY. I'll just do the last equities one. I think CHWY's in a really, really good spot as well. Where are we down here? I think this had a great weekly reclaim as well. So this area through here, kind of around the 25s, can see the sell-off here and two very strong weeklies. RSI 50 reset again, starting to move higher. And then I think it looks even better on a monthly. Because I think on a monthly, this just looks like a clean level reclaim through here. So I think that CHWY's another one. So CHWY, Tensor, and RKLB, I think, are just super solid equity picks for now. But we'll get back to the shitcoins. Sol. Again, we just have to take the higher time frame as our only real point of kind of strength and thought process, I think, through here. It's fine on the weekly. It's fine on the weekly. Yeah, I still think it's probably going to trade lower. The hourly time frame, yeah, like the hourly time frame is going to look like dog shit, man. Like, going to look like dog shit. It was a sad weekly close last week. It's going to look worse here. Yeah, this is all dog shit. This is a really good recovery here. This could have been like a nice divergence structure. We can still technically get that, but yeah, it looks pretty poor here. Like 135s, if we drop back below 135s, I'd expect to see a reaction. Everything in crypto side of things looks weak going into the weekend, which is, I don't know, a little bit surprising. I thought maybe it would take the opportunity to catch up with equities, maybe try and pull something to the upside. Don't know whether or not we've just got, you know, all of the kind of the news-related, wallet-related shit that's kind of overhanging. I think the better markets are those markets that will either now go on and make triple divergences. So we talked a lot about like the 3-day divergence potential for triples. I think that looks as though it's kind of on the cards still. Probably more likely after some of the weakness that we've seen. Which means we're going to get like retests of lows, we're going to get movement back down. But again, it's super interesting the way that like all of the thought process starts to change. You know, like obviously we had all of this kind of like despair and anger and frustration. Then we had all of this FOMO and, you know, kind of like everything was back and should have bought the lows and what the fuck were we doing? Into this, which is now where everybody is just frustrated, pissed off with the chop, losing money trading, but still has an upside bias because of this. So because of this sandwiched in the middle, the expectation is this move, which is why I think this is even more frustrating, because it's like, well, okay, here's the sell-off. Now I should long this. Okay, now it's just chopping me up, stops me out, right? Stopped out multiple times here, but all in the expectation still that this is the eventual play out. And it might be, but I think that what that set of candles did was do a very good job in disguising the fact that the vast majority of markets are still downtrending. You know, we've been discussing the BTC downtrend just based on the market structure through here. And I think that candle, those set of kind of 2-3 days on alts, did a very good job of disguising the fact that this is still a heavily downtrending market. AVAX is strong, but like again, like if we're talking about lower time frame, maybe, but like higher time frame, this is just another dog shit chart. Great bearish weekly retest all the way back down to the lows down here. Sorry, not AVAX. Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, yeah, RV. Yeah, RV looks great. RV's a very solid market. It's like RV, CRV, like the ETH DeFi stuff is performing better. CRV is still the better looking market. CRV has still got so much room to move potentially through here. I think it's easily another 10% up here and then maybe a little bit more. Like this trade overall, what is this trade? Like 70% looking for here. I think both those markets are still very good. CRV and RV have looked very, very strong. Where do you make most of your money? Equities or crypto? Crypto. I've been doing this for 1 month now. Tried my first 50x. Yeah, I transferred more money into my account. Yeah, welcome to leverage. But like, try not to go too crazy with that shit. But listen, I'm a big advocate of leverage. I think it's a ton of fun when utilized correctly. So just don't go too crazy with it. I think it's worth trading perps. I don't know. I mean, like, I think in terms of actively trading this environment, and I'm such a big advocate of trading equities. I think so many more crypto traders should trade equities. Not only because I think there's a huge amount of value on that side, but because I think that they would also benefit from the lifestyle that's associated with trading equities. I think trading this environment in crypto right now is very challenging. I think it's a hard environment to trade. I think if you're active and trying to maneuver through these markets right now, I would be very surprised if 90% of people aren't taking a beating right now. It's tough. And I think there has to come a point where you say to yourself, look, I'm going to just take a chill on the trading side of things. I'll wait until better times return, because they will. We know they always do. Right? Better times to return to crypto. Whether or not you want to spend your time doing something else, whether or not that's kind of like learning equities, diving into shitcoins, whatever you want to do that isn't kind of just actively trading and continually clicking long or short and trying to extract some value from this, I think is worthwhile. Can you give an equities promotion? People still think they move slower. I mean, like, they do move slower. Like, they're far more aggressive than they have historically been. You know, right now the marketplace is far more fast paced. They are slower. For a lot of people, though, the slowness is actually an advantage. You may think it's a disadvantage. It's actually a huge advantage. Like, the majority of people can't handle this level of volatility. So actually getting something that is slightly less volatile and allows you a bit more control is actually far better. You know, kind of like feels that the journey's a little smoother. Yeah, Tia's one that kind of we've been eyeballing as the potential for a solid move. I think the daily now is in a position where we've got to start seeing some hold up, and the 3-day as well. Like, this slowdown in momentum is very, very good, right? But it's not matched by the RSI, and that is a slight concern. Now, we see that below 490s, basically below 5, there seems to be a pretty solid demand pull down here. But based on the fact we're coming back down towards that higher time frame support again for the third test in, you know, a month. Again, it's a little bit awkward to just suddenly want a position here. Tier will unlock coins in the near future, and it kind of increases selling pressure. Just long the unlock. There we go. We figured out the TA. We just long the unlock, and we're fine. That's all you need to do. I'm already long. No, I don't think it's necessarily FUD. I couldn't be long this. I don't have a signal. There's no signal for me to be long this. I've always said that. Well, I've always said for the last couple of weeks when we've talked about TIA, I've spoken about the fact that I think that this will probably have quite an aggressive kind of counter trend rally. I just don't know when that is. I don't think I could time it based on this. FX is good. FX is dog shit. Fuck me. Honestly, do anything else but trade FX. Like, just go work fast food somewhere than trade FX. Fuck that. Garbage markets. Like, worse opening hours and shitter markets. Ah, it's fucking terrible. Holy shit, you're spot on about volatility. I'm telling you, it's a very, very significant point about the volatility levels in crypto and the ability to handle that. Ability to handle those swings, the ability to be able to kind of position, maneuver, have that tolerance for risk, and also then obviously you're also led by everybody else. The hardest bit, right? The hardest bit about the equity side of things is the constant pull of crypto. So, like, I trade a lot of equities. They are my primary markets for now. Like, I've probably been so for a while now. Like, they're my primary markets. I love the equities markets. I love the fact they're closed at weekends. There's so many benefits from the equity side for me. Aside from the fact that they're just fucking cleaner trending markets, they just tend to go up and you catch a correction and that's it. The difficult thing is, like, you can trade equities for like 3-4 weeks and feel great, and suddenly crypto will rip 30% in a day. And then you're like, oh shit, FOMO, hop back in. Yeah, miners are garbage. But stuff like Coin is actually relatively decent. Like, I don't know how many people have actually looked at a Coinbase chart. But like, Coinbase is trying to creep back inside its weekly range. And it's kind of doing so under the radar. So the close on the weekly is actually pretty good for Coinbase here. You can see even from a 4-hour perspective, we're trying to squeeze up there. Now this price action is far better than crypto's price action. Obviously aggressive in the selling as well. But the actual reaction through here has been pretty decent. But yeah, miners in general, they need to be kind of like solidly back inside the ranges. And again, I don't think you need to take a chance with Coinbase at 205. I think you can wait till Coinbase is higher. Because in that situation, we are going to be looking simply at a failed breakdown or a sweep. Aggressive move to the downside. Quick reversal back inside the range. But you don't need to make that decision here. You can do so when we're kind of like comfortably back in the range. You can do it here if you want the better risk reward. But you got to do that balancing act. ETH, yeah, I mean, like, again, the big level through ETH is 2,500. That's still the main one here. It's basically this, you know, and this is where we want to hold above on the higher time frames. Daily time frames still okay for ETH. This is just more of the consolidation aspect of this, or the bounce and it's starting to weaken. The 4-hour time frame is also not too bad here, although this is super weak across the highs. We've been looking for this 2700 breakout, this clean 2700 breakout, just hasn't materialized. Every time that we get into the high, we just end up rejecting. Basically, every high piercing candle above 2700 is just like smacked back down. So now the 4-hour here isn't in a particularly nice place. Now we've also got the 12-hour that's now fully reset as well. 3 days in continuation mode, and so is the weekly. Lower time frame, it's okay. If you're actively trading this, again, it's a fuck fest. 2,500 is your weekly line in the sand. Needs to be above. Thanks, Barry. Take care, man. I sold what I thought was the coin bearish retest, but had to get back in on this weekly reclaim. Again, I think that's a fine decision. You know where your invalidation is, and it's the same as stuff like Tesla. Like Tesla for me will be kind of like an easy weekly reclaim zone with a good invalidation and potentially great upside. Gun to your head, coin or hood? I think you'd probably have to pick hood. Just because I think they've got the potential to grow the crypto side of things, which is actually a challenger in the space. But then they still have all of the pull of the equity side of things. They really just seem like an underside retest. The range lows around 2790. Looks exactly the way it is right now. Yeah, gold and commodities doing very well. Gold is super strong. Broke out of its bearish divergence formation. Very strong market. Gold that cooked like a week ago. It's had such a good week. I think I don't know if I'd go as far as to say that this week has been worse for people than the sell-off weeks. But I suspect that this week has actually been super hard on people who have been actively trading this. Because like I said, I think there's been a change in mentality which has kind of given people an increased sense of the upside trade, which keeps on not materializing. And so I think it's probably been a pretty rancid week for the vast majority of people. Thoughts on Hut and Hive charts? Just got to get back above weekly levels, man. And again, I don't think there's any point in betting on those until crypto starts to show its hand. I think this week was a great week to learn and use lick sweeps on lower time frame. Yeah, and that's the way the market's been, very reactive to those kind of like moments. Scalpers Paradise? I don't even think it has been. I think Scalpers Paradise is also like, I don't think that's accurate of how that's been. I think even this level of volatility has been awkward. Again, depends on your definition of scalping, but I think there's a lot more losers this week than successful trades. I have to try and like formulate some sort of tweet about how I word that. Oh, and I got to do this RSI video as well. That's a very good point. I should make a note about that now. Have I got a pen somewhere here? Like one of those old-fashioned writing tools. What the fuck is a pen? I'm such a boomer, I always usually have a pen immediately to hand. Where the fuck is a pen? $45, holy shit. Imagine. Yeah, so I need to do this RSI video. And I need to cover off. Basically, I'm updating the educational video on RSI. So it's the new educational video for RSI usage in 2024. And I need some key points. I think like first one is oversold, overbought bullshit. Divergence usage. 50 level. Trending markets. I mean, that's probably enough, to be honest with you. Well, there you go. Did it. So we'll do like another 10 minutes or so and then we'll wrap up. Market's pretty quiet. We're getting towards the daily close. I think there's any reason to necessarily like hang on for that moment. I don't think we're going to get anything more excited than what's currently developing. We just have to hope there's some level of positivity into the weekend, but and also me sounding flat about it isn't because of the crypto markets. I don't really care there. That's the tiredness creeping in. But it's not like a personal deflation at the way the markets are trading. It's you like something to kick off as well on Twitter, like just something to just like kickstart things, you know? Thoughts on crypto weakness as equities rallied all week? Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether or not, you know, the whole like BTC overhang thing is a problem. I don't know if the election stuff is also like playing a part in it in terms of, you know, Kamala running, you know, ahead in terms of odds now. I don't know what it is. I don't know why there's that kind of negativity associated with this space in terms of the kind of the catch-up play. Like I said, the V reversals have been very, very clear on the equity side of things and non-existent on the crypto side. Yeah, I'll do AO as well. I'll make a note of it. I'll do AO as well. I'll get the RSI one done first. That's really just kind of like an update that's needed. And then we'll do AO after. I'll just put AO video to follow. Nah. Damn, what's Sin doing, huh? Why are we not all just buying this? Why is Synapse up like this? Damn. Oh yeah, we were looking at Thai. Well, I didn't really want it, but I don't know. Is this a good buy here? Binance perps listing. Okay. I love your trading and psychological style. I'm watching your video and learning for 1 year almost, hoping to be profitable. You'll get there, man. Appreciate it, though. Go to sleep? What do you mean? I got work to do. I need to make it play. What's your time frame? One week, done. You cooked. If you're looking for like a make it play in a week, you probably like dump it all in ETH puts. It's like 2,400. Just pray that this just pukes. Otherwise, you're just in the meme coin shit pits fighting it out. You know? You emphasize trading in traditional markets. Which one would you recommend to study first? Honestly, if you're not like super passionate about the underlying message of crypto, or if you're not in a location that kind of like crypto trading is either your only option or the option that you want to focus on for whatever kind of like reasons, whether that be tax reasons, whatever, I would focus on traditional markets to kick off. They're slower, they're more forgiving, they respond better to simple TA. The big advantage with studying crypto first is that everything is faster. Right? Like these moves are faster, the volatility is greater. We tend to have kind of like more price action to analyze in a shorter space of time. So you're going to get like kind of like more education quicker in crypto. You're going to have a better, well, not a better, you're going to have a simpler path through traditional, but then you may struggle in applying that to crypto. But like it's going to take a while either way. Yeah, 145 in Europe. Yeah. We'll wrap up. We'll catch up again on Monday. So we're going to have the weekend now. We're going to see if anything positive transpires over the weekend. But apart from that, it's just going to be a relaxed 48 hours or so, hopefully, into the start of the week. And we might see the indexes correct on Monday as well, just because they've been on a bit of a heater, obviously, at the tail end of this week as well. Been pretty relentless in the ascent back to the highs. Certainly the undoing of the Kamala crash. So we'll catch up again on Monday. We'll figure out what's been going on, how the market's open. We'll do Monday night. We'll do a little recap of the way things look. We'll figure out what we're going to do next. Yeah, foundation's still working, man. All right. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me so late on a Friday night. I appreciate you taking some time out or delaying your bedtime, whatever you're doing, in order to spend a little bit of time with me to relax and absorb what we've been witnessing over the last few days. And look forward to catching up with you all on Monday. Have a wonderful